guys, my name is Rena from Sentro Crochet, and in today's video, I got a new toy. Now for reference, I've been eyeing this for quite a while. Basically ever since I first learned to crochet about over a year ago, I fell down the rabbit hole of crochet YouTube and crochet social media, and I see Sentro machines everywhere. So I got myself one. So I got the 48 pin, and I got this with the sole purpose to make beanies. What are my plans for said beanies? That's TBD. But I got my machine, so let's open her up. This thing was like 50-ish bucks on Amazon. I know realistically that the Addy knitting machine is a superior machine, but considering that I've never used a knitting machine before, and I just want to try it out, play around. If I like it, I might buy another, who knows? But I committed to this. There's a lot of discourse around, Addy versus Sentro and how people hate the Sentro, but I also didn't want to pay $200 for something I didn't like. Cost-benefit analysis. Ta-da! Let me set up my camera on a different angle and I'll get back to you. Well, I have the worst lighting imaginable here. But I don't care. I cannot wait. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so I have this thing set up. I should probably actually look at a YouTube tutorial on how to properly use this thing instead of, going straight into it. What I'm gonna do first is see if I can make a beanie with this yarn that they give me. And then after that, I'm thinking I'll start trying the yarn in my stash to see, what works, what doesn't.
The setting should be in tube setting.
So one thing, maybe I just don't have the suction cups on very tightly because it's as you can see, it's kind of moving a little bit. But so far no drop stitches. That's because I am using the yarn that is provided in the kit. But I'm gonna make this beanie, see how far I get. I think this requires me, in order to make a beanie, I think I have to have like 100 something rows on here. Oh geez. Yeah, I think in order to make a beanie, I have to have 100 something rows. And I'll get back to you on that once I basically use up this skein. Or maybe it might have me do I could probably do a double-sided beanie here. But yeah, I have heard stuff about waste yarn and all that. What the heck? Why is this getting, oh, okay. That's why. Oh, there's too much fluff on this thing, that's why. Okay, let's loosen up the tension here. Yeah, I've heard things about stuff like waste yarn. So I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I think I'm going to use the other two smaller skeins for waste yarn, possibly. We'll see. But yeah, I will get back to you soon. So you know how I said I was gonna make a beanie with this? That didn't happen. That was kind of a fail. But I think instead of trying again with the Sentro yarn, I'm gonna try using yarn that I want to use for this machine. And the first one I want to try is actually this Hobby Lobby yarn. I started making a baby blanket, but I kind of hate how it turned out. So I'm just gonna undo the entire thing and just use the yarn for this instead. General update, this is running a lot better than the other yarn that I was using, mainly because the other yarn was dropping stitches and breaking, whereas my Hobby Lobby skein, not so much. My favorite thing is as soon as they said, oh yeah, things are going well, things are fine, you know, whatever, I had to fix like 4 drop stitches. On the bright side, I know how to fix a drop stitch now, but that was unfun. I'm not gonna lie, this took a lot out of me. It was going quite well on this color, but once the color change turned to black, it was a nightmare. What I ended up doing is giving up. I just pulled the entire thing off the machine somehow. I don't even remember how, probably not correctly. Undid all of the black and then just guessed and cast it off that way. And I mean, it's a hat. It's hat. I have enough yarn to make another one if I really wanted to do this. Whatever tutorial I was following said 140, but I didn't even make it to 140 rows and it was giving me problems. And obviously I removed a lot of rows and, you know, it seems to be fine at like less than 140. So we'll see what happens after this. I'll try it again tomorrow, but I think I'm done for tonight. It's the next day. I've given myself to be less frustrated with the machine, and I was actually able to whip this up on the Sentro machine after work today. I came home, whipped this up, went on a meeting, and then went to dinner, but it looks quite nice. I think it's more like kid size, and it's a little bit small for what it is because I was just using a scrap thing of yarn, but it looks good. I really like how it turned out. Second round with the Hobby Lobby cake. It is working so much better. Oh my god. So much better. I did go slower this time and there are no drop stitches this time. Hopefully, let's keep it that way, hopefully, but yeah. Okay, let's... Nice. You know what's even better about this is I actually used up this entire skein of yarn, and basically one skein makes about 2 hats. And I think this is the Hobby Lobby Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel. But yeah, I turned a old 6-day star blanket attempt into 2 hats. My boyfriend ended up taking the other one, even though it doesn't fit him as well. But yeah, I think this one might fit him better because it's a little bit bigger, or more so a little bit longer. And technically this is reversible, even though this here is not as pretty, but you can kind of hide it if you put a pom-pom on it, which I don't want to do. So I actually want to play around with one more yarn before I conclude this video, and that is the Karen Chunky Cupcake that I bought while on a work trip. This was kind of an impulse buy because I saw it looked cute and I wanted to try it out. And technically one of these is supposed to make a beanie. But the issue is that I kind of only know how to crochet. And the pattern here is a knit beanie. So maybe I'm thinking the way to use this yarn is to use my knitting machine. So let's try that next. On one hand, I made basically a reversible hat. On the other hand, this is kind of a small hat, and I could sew on this pom-pom, but I don't want to. I will say I do not recommend the Karen Chunky Cupcake yarn on the Sentro knitting machine. It was not a smooth crank at all. I was able to whip this up very quickly, and that was pretty cool. Now I'll just put it in my pile of hats. So, okay, now that I've made a couple beanies and finally figured out how to use this thing, I'm going to give my final preliminary opinions, if that makes any sense. I'm gonna start with the bad first. So I don't know if it's my table, but I had a lot of trouble like holding it down while cranking the handle. It felt like it would just like, it felt like as I was cranking the handle, it would just like flip up on itself. Which is not good. It's not very sturdy, and also my table's very shaky. Maybe I wouldn't have this problem if I wasn't just using like a fold-up table from Walmart, but because I am, it's not the greatest. Holding it down is kind of a struggle. I wish there were better ways to hold it down. I know the suction cups are important, but they're almost useless for me. I would say that's my biggest complaint. Overall, I kind of like it, but I kind of like it in the sense that I feel like I'd like any knitting machine. Because I didn't try the Addy, because I didn't want to pay $200, I think what I got is pretty nice. I mean, I just wanted a basic knitting machine to use up scrap yarn, and this is it. I don't necessarily think that the yarns I used on that machine are any special, or if those are like amazing yarns for like an extra smooth experience. I can tell you so far the only yarn I used on that was absolutely terrible was that Karen Chunky Cake. That was just not a pleasant experience, but I don't think the yarns I used were amazing or bad. They worked for hand cranking purposes. I haven't delved too much in the world of, you know, trying to get a drill attachment. And frankly, I don't really want to, but it is what it is. I do kind of like that with this machine, I can just whip up a hat in minutes. Last night, when I was making more hats and trying to figure out more of my machine, I whipped out 3 hats in a night. That's amazing. I also know that this will be very useful for more like yarn waste elimination efforts. I have a lot of miscellaneous yarn scraps from various projects that I don't really know what to do with afterwards. So I think this will be a fantastic use of this. And yeah, I can make beanies from scrap yarn. And I think my long-term plan with that is just to donate them. So, you know, it's kind of like a double whammy in my opinion. So yeah, I would say overall I'm pretty satisfied. I'm pretty happy with my new toy. And with that, I will conclude my video here. If you watched this far, give this a like, comment down below what you think about your Sentro machine if you have one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!